Oh, they all want to scatter in the back.
Terry, you're looking skinny. No way, seriously? Damn, I need to get on this bandwagon, y'all. The whole office is getting skinny. Oh, except for me. He's asking.
What's the goal? The goal is convertible. What is it? Come on, share it with us. No, that's the end result of reaching the goal. I haven't figured out what that is, but I can tell you once I lose 10 more pounds, I'm going to actually gourd my butt off on sweets and things that I've been put on. I'll put on 3 to 5 pounds and then I'll get back on the train.
No, you gourd on the stuff and you talk to people on the phone. About an hour later, they'll pay the price.
There you go. Everybody pass your cards up over here.
Oh, well.
Not only are you going to be entered into the drawing we will have in a week or 2 weeks, I'm going to give out a car wash today. It is. You go start some cells on it. Yes, and by the way, this is only good today.
Why it's such a
That's it. He takes everybody else's and puts it there.
My I got quickly. You got 10 seconds.
I'm
Yes. That's what we'll do. Nice little
showroom, right?
Can we get a video of this so I can send it to Dwayne and show him that we have SR pumps and you have to draw the SR? All right. Eric, come on over, and by the way, let's give Eric. He brought all the dessert, all the breakfast. If you didn't get it, go on the picture. Eric, go ahead and draw who the lucky winner is of the. Come on.
How do you pronounce Lisa's last name?
Let's see what it is. How do you say it?
Jacob?
No,
She's going to give you one more chance, and if you can't get it right, then she can't win.
She just said it.
That's exactly right.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Congratulations.
What is this?
I think Terry's gonna massage your feet.
Today.
Everybody have a good weekend.
Are you enjoying the weather that we're having? If you're, man, I'll tell you, the weekend weather. So we gotta have a little bit of sprinkle with this. I'm gonna turn it over to Eric. Today, we're gonna be talking about something to deal with Eric. It's watch for the new, but you gotta sell the old. So that's what we're talking about. Eric is right down the street. Who can tell me where the Grove at Spring Valley is? Right.
Down the street.
All right. Where is it?
Across Forsyth High School gate, right across the road.
Right down the street, 141, off of, would you guess it, off of Spring Valley, would that be correct? It is literally right down the road. And that's a picture of one of your inventory homes that you have at the Millis up there.
I sincerely appreciate that, sir. Thank you.
Go ahead, Eric.
No, that's it. We're easy to miss because the sign is real easy to miss, but we're about to have 5 inventory homes. All 3 elementary, middle, and high are within 1 mile. And we've got inventory in these packets. It's mandatory that you come see me, and I sincerely appreciate it.
That's great.
That is my report, Phil 11. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So tell us, what have you got, what are the sizes of the homes? What's the ranges?
2,800 to 3,200 square feet. We've got master on the main. Pool, it's only 1 entrance, so it won't be on a busy street for the kids. Brand new, Ashton Woods, of course, builds beautiful houses. We've got a spectacular new design studio. Did you get to see?
Yeah, we had some, I didn't yet, but I saw pictures from some of the ranges. Who went to the Ashton Woods thing? Did you love it?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome thing.
Very nice. Awesome food.
Well, I heard Dwayne Hill, the president, he said there's nothing else like it in Atlanta, and I heard that they basically delivered that bill, so.
Scotch was good.
Very good. Yeah, we got little drink cups, Melissa showed me those last night, very cool. I plan on using those, so thank you.
And then best of all, the clients get to personalize the house. I mean, it's not a production, we can do whatever. They get 6 hours with a design team plus an additional preview. We can do whatever you can think of.
Very nice. And model home,
Up and running every day.
how's it look?
Spectacular, but I'm biased.
That's right. Well, I'm biased too. If you haven't seen an Ashton Woods model home, I highly encourage you. They have some of the best models I've seen out there, seriously. They're 400, 500 rival and $800,000 model homes, so go check them out. They're working. Yes, Jim. did you have something?
No, I'm good, no.
You were just mad that you.
Well, I
didn't-
was, yeah, no, yeah, I didn't. No, I'll ask you later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to say?
Thank you for having me today. Sincerely appreciate it. Thank you. Come see me.
Go see them. Yes, Lynn.
Are there any ranges?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
It's the only bad news I'll ever have.
All right.
But you do have master on the main, so that's
That's
good.
my lane.
All right, thank you very much, Eric. And
Thank you very kindly.
let us know we can do help you outside of yourself and new homes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate the breakfast. Good job. I'll tell Dwayne you did a phenomenal job. All right, mortgage matters, Mr. Zulon. Come on.
Showtime.
Deliver.
Today it is treat or treat.
Ah.
Where's your costume?
That's not like a mortgage guy.
Pretty scary.
Can anyone tell me what the new closing statement's gonna be called? It's not the HUD anymore. What is it?
Closing statement.
Closing disclosure.
Closing disclosure, there you go. CD.
What do they win for getting that?
You get a candy bar.
Oh, I'm glad you said that.
You get a free foot massage. Terry's gonna give it.
Yeah.
No, can anyone tell me, how many, is it business days or is it calendar days that the CD needs to be delivered to the
Business
customer?
days.
That's right. The mail runs, basically when the mail runs is how it goes, so we'll count Saturday. Holidays don't count, federal holidays don't count, but when the mail runs, that's when we count the days, so. So it's gonna be a learning experience. We don't have a lot to go off of yet. Basically the key word's gonna be accountability, and all of it's gonna go on these shoulders right here. So if we miss any fees in the beginning, it can cause delays. If there's, we talked about it, initiation fees. HOA fees, things like that, condo fees, things that, get missed that could cause a delay because we have to redisclose and it can cost us 3 days to redisclose. So if we have to add anything onto the CD, it's gonna cause your closing to get pushed out. So it's gonna be very important that everybody communicates up front, especially if you're listing a home. Call the HOA, figure out, what's the initiation fee gonna be? Is it 500, 1,000? Is there none at all? I've seen a lot of agents just put not applicable on there, and we find out later there's a $700 initiation fee. So those are the things that are gonna drag us down, and, we're not gonna eat it, so we're gonna redisclose and push the date out because, why should we eat it? If we've done our due diligence, we have the contract, and we're depending on good information, solid information, that's all we have to go by. And if we find out later it's different, then we're gonna redisclose and push it out, so. I've heard of situations where there may be a big enough fee that a lender may just say, we're not gonna close the loan at all, we're just gonna deny the whole damn thing and make them start over, because if it's 3, 4, 5 grand, why would the lender wanna eat that cost? So it's a reality, so I just wanna prep everybody for it, because it could happen to you someday. That's what I've got so far. We're feeling our way through it. The first closings are starting to come up now, so, we'll see how that goes. I have some coming up as well, so I'll get to look at the first CDs here soon.
More I'm excited about it.
I'm excited. I mean, the weather's great. It's Halloween. It's my favorite time of year. Interest rates are flatlined right now based on what's going on overseas, the economy. We've got Case-Shiller numbers that are coming out, and they're expected to be a little lower. Can anyone tell us what Case-Shiller is again? I know you know.
Who in the wealth of knowledge out there can tell us what the Case-Shiller is?
It's a composite index.
Follows like the same property throughout a number of years and the same, how it historically has done over time. And I think there's a number of top 20
There are two
markets.
different,
It's the top.
there are two different city segments that are in it. They got a 10-city segment, and they've got a 20-city segment. Atlanta is part of the 20-city study, and it goes back to 2000, January 1st of 2000, and it says if the home was worth $100,000 at 2000, what is it worth today? Let's say that home was worth $140,000. Then on the Case-Shiller, it would be 140. That's basically how it's measured. So it basically takes a home's value back in 2000, translates it out through today, graphs all those 20-city things and averages it out, and that's basically what it is. It is the most talked about price consumption in the market out there, so you need to study up on it. Everybody in here needs to be able to say, what is Atlanta part of 10 or 20 city? The 20 city, you need to go read up on it, period. Okay?
But TRID applies to refinances, purchases, it doesn't matter. So, if you guys need help, have any questions, my office is on the other side over by the conference room. Stop by, come see me, shoot me an email, call me, I'm available. I answer on Sundays. You can ask some of the other agents. I do pick up the phone, so if you run into a jam, you have a question, let us know. And we'd love to work with you on any refinances you know about or any purchase buyers that you need help with. We'll navigate TRID together, so appreciate it.
Very good. Thank you very much. All right, so here's one of the things that I wanted to give to you guys while you're in Gwinnett, Forsyth, North Fulton. It does not matter. This is going to be something that you're going to see happen as the market people have retreated going into the fall and winter, going, we'll wait till next year to list our home. I went in and said, let me just see what's going on right now. And I went to Forsyth County, price range of $400,000 to $500,000. And I was blown away because just right at 50% of the available homes from $400,000 to $500,000, and the first 60 homes that I counted through were new homes. That is way more. Last year, 2 years ago, it was about 10 to 20% maximum. So to see the difference and to see the shift, this is going to be your biggest thing to pay attention to moving forward. If you look out there and you look at the numbers, which will cover FMLS stats and stuff, the pace of sales on the resales has softened up a little bit. If you haven't felt it, you're in an area where there are no new home communities going up. Builders have started to build more inventory. So what's happened is, and you'll see it in FMLS, the number of sales and transactions is actually continuing to increase and improve year over year. So it's directly related to the new home inventory getting larger and larger out there, and they're starting to take more sales. Give you an example, down at the Reserve at Old Atlanta, a week and a half ago, they'd already sold 20 homes in the mid 500s to $800,000 price point. It's huge because that market has not been performed, no neighborhood has been performing that well in the last several months for that price range. But they're out there kicking, and they've got a lot of inventory that they're building right now. This is going to be something you have got to study, pay attention to. It's why they're starting to come out in our, did we see these new home communities come out a year ago? No, they were too busy. They're writing contracts, it's all pre-sales. They didn't have inventory. Life was happening. Now, why do you think all of a sudden we're getting knocked on our door every single week? Hey, the builders are saying, get your butts out there and start doing the things that we've been asking you to do. And now we're all of a sudden in a log jam, and we got inventory going out, and now we're going to start pressuring. So this is the new day. So you must go visit the new home communities and see their model homes, because this is what is going to get people excited. And then you're also going to be able to tell your sellers, if you're going to sell in today's market, you're going to have to do the things that you really don't want to do. Otherwise, your home is going to sit. We're seeing a lot of resales sit on the market that have not been updated. And you're either going to have to drop that price significantly lower, the sellers will not be willing to go, or pay $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 to enhance the home to get it to sell in today's market. Period. That's the name of the game, and it's only going to get more and more severe. I live in a home that was built in 2005. To me, I walk in and I go, hey, I like it. It looks nice. But the reality is, if I put that home on the market, I'd have to go in and redo the kitchen and make it today's colors versus the golds and the browns and all that stuff that's in my home. That's in a lot of homes that are in the upper price ranges. Yet, if you don't go change it, like Ashton Woods has changed the color combination, there's a lot of grays out there now. If you can't see that, and that's what the buyers are getting excited by, they're not getting excited by the old dark crap. It's all the new lighter stuff, the clean lines, all the glass. I mean, that's what's selling today. When they go see that in the model homes, they get excited about it. And if you can't get your resale, your old home, to match that new construction, dead on. Good morning.
Okay.
How are you today? So, I want you to think about that, but here's the other key. When you go down to see the model homes, which, by the way, the Ashton Woods model home right down in the forest, go down there and go see it. And when you see a model home that you get excited over, I will tell you, one of the best layouts I've seen, one of the best model homes I've seen, was down at the Reserve at Old Atlanta. And I went in there as a master on the main. I've never seen that floor plan anywhere. And it's a David Weekley floor plan. And they designed it just for that neighborhood and stuff. But I went in there and I'm like, oh my God, this is a home run. And they did the big sliding wall of windows that go across and open up to the covered patio out back. If you don't think that your friends will get excited over going and seeing stuff like that, which they won't do in their own home because we way too costly, that's how you're going to start getting people in the game. Leveraging the model homes and the new communities that are going up in your area as your points. When you go out there and see them, you're going to get excited and you're going to go out and talk about them just like I'm talking with you guys. I'll bet you 5 to 10 of y'all will go out this next week and go see the Reserve at Old Atlanta Club to see that model home over there. It's worth the drive and it's worth the time. And then you go in there and you go, wow, I didn't realize you guys had sold 20 homes already from 500s to 800,000. Wow. Is that something that you need to go tell other people? And if you have a home in the 500s in that pocket that hadn't been selling, can you educate them and say, well, you know what, you're gonna have to deal with changing your kitchen. Otherwise, you need to drop $50,000. You're gonna have to repaint your inside to get rid of that gold tone stuff and put in the new colors that are today. Otherwise, you're not going to sell your home anywhere close to the price we got listed. Period. Okay? Y'all hear me loud and clear on that? Any questions?
Right.
Who's going out on a weekly basis and seeing at least one model home in your area? 2 to 3. You need to make it a part of every single week that you go see a new home community, see a model home, and don't just go in there and drive through the neighborhood and leave. Go in the model home, go call the agent and go talk to them and find out how many sales have they had, what's their average price range, what's the market, learn things from them that you can go out there and share with other people. That's what you got to do. All right, trademark home inspections. We've talked about Atlas Chalet shingles. They are killing deals. They're making something very difficult out there. And I was talking to Cal about 2 weeks ago, and I said, you know what? I'm kind of tired of this. And I said, could you guys come up with a shortened list that we could go out there and primarily for the roof? And he goes, we kind of already got that. It's a pre-listing thing and it's a shortened list of things we would check on. I said, well, I want to make it more relevant and go 100% towards the Atlas Chalet shingles. So I said, what time frame were the homes built that might be affected by that? He said 1999 to 2010. Is that accurate?
Correct.
And I said, okay, so if you go into a listing appointment, I want you to have power and I want you to be more relevant than other companies and other agents are. So I said, Cal, what can we do where we focus in on that and say, hey, if your home was built during this time, which a lot of homes that we're listing today were built in that time period, what can we put together? So they came up with, I said, I want to be co-branded because I want to be custom to our office. I want to look like we're the ones that are driving it out there. And he came up with this right here. And you do have copies for everybody, right? And you'll also get emailed these, but they're going to stock you guys up with these. And the key thing is, if you go into a home that was priced or listed or built during that time period, we're going to check the roofing shingles to see if it is an Atlas Chalet shingle or not. And we're also going to check the major mechanicals, which is HVAC, water heaters, and furnaces. If the home doesn't have a termite bond with it, they'll charge $45 if they want them to do that. They'll check the attic and they'll check the foundation, all for $200. Yes.
So what's the recourse if you've got Atlas shingles?
Well, the recourse is
What
having the
happens?
knowledge that you've got it and you've got an issue to deal with. Okay, then the deal comes down to what insurance company is your home with? Is there any damaged shingles that are with it? And then complying with whatever the insurance companies do or do not do around Atlas Chalet shingles, which all of them are significantly different.
Okay.
But here's what we're seeing happen. These sellers go market the home. They negotiate a price. They go, this is our bottom line. We're not doing it anymore. And then all of a sudden you have the roof issue. Oh, it's Atlas Chalet. The buyers go, we're not buying that stuff, right? And the sellers go, well, we're not going to fix it at that price. We're at our bottom line. And now you got a big problem. And we're seeing over 50% of those deals go away. And now all of a sudden you're going, well, we know the home's value is this. Now I've got to figure out what the heck am I going to do to sell this home and have the sellers be willing to do something with it. So as opposed to waiting for that, we want to be proactive and go, when you walk into a listing appointment and you know the home was built during that time, you go, hey, you know what? We do not want to have a deal fall through. We need to know if your home has Atlas Chalet shingles. So we've come up with a great program. It's not only going to check that, it's going to check these other features in there. And just for $200, it's a great insurance policy for you as a seller, for us to know ahead of time versus waiting for that inspection report to come in from the buyer. Now, if you have control and you go into a listing appointment, you come up with a forward-thinking program like that, how do you feel as the consumer, as me as an agent? Do you feel like I'm in control and that I know what I'm doing? I'm going to educate you and find out and be proud. I'm telling you, a lot of agents are not handling this straight on. I want to handle it straight on and bring something to you. So Cal, why don't you come up and talk about whatever you want to. Well, and by the way, let's give Cal a nice thank you.
Probably one of the most unique things, and I will give you credit, because this has been a major issue for the last year. Actually, year and a half. Not one other broker has asked me to do this for their associates. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So very good job there. Give him a hand.
Well, selfishly, I turned you a phone call.
I understand. However you want to take credit. So the Atlas Chalet has been a major issue, and then we kind of just tied on the backside of saying, okay, we can go out there really quickly, look at the roof, and kind of determine for the seller whether it's going to pose a problem when a ready, willing, and able buyer comes to the table. The problem is when that deal gets under contract, 30 days, 45 days to closing, and it takes longer than that to fix this or find the solution to this problem. It could be an insurance with Kim, it could be a different source of money back from the actual company. Atlas Chalet themselves have got a credit that they'll actually give back to the seller of 75% if you know the channels to follow. We do have one particular company that's very, very good at that right now, and we're sending them a lot of business, and it's called Malley Roofing, and his name is Stacy. So if you come across this, that is who I recommend that you contact. One of my biggest value propositions to you guys is I am what I call real estate friendly. I can communicate to your clients and not kill a deal that doesn't need to be killed. He For a roofer, it's unusual to have that. He is real estate friendly. He doesn't go in there and scare everybody to death. He simply states the issues and the facts, and then he actually gets very hands-on and involved in the process of actually going through the paperwork to get the right person to file the claim in the right spot. It's a very hairy situation because sometimes it's got some verbiage on there that the insurance says, look, we don't want it. And there's some verbiage sometimes on there that the Atlas Chalet says, no, we don't want it. He kind of understands that policy. So with that being said, just really be on the lookout. We will make you as many of these as you want. I would love for you to put them in your listing presentations, and I do think it gives you a leg up on your competition. If you're going in right behind somebody else and they say, well, they didn't even mention this to me, knowledge is power, and you're bringing something to the table that they didn't. So I think it's going to give you maybe an additional advantage on a listing presentation as well. And even if you don't get that listing, it comes out with the Atlas Chalet saying, didn't they say something about that? And chances are maybe you get that if it doesn't sell. Real quick, wanted to kind of brag on this office. I've said, thank you for the time you've allowed me up here, because I've been up here a lot lately in front of you guys. And I've said before, thank you for the opportunity to be in business with you guys. It's a pleasure being in business with you guys. And I'll give you 2 examples of why I say that instead of just words. 2 times over the last 2 months, we've had really rough inspections. I wouldn't say terribly rough, but major issues. And there's been 2 agents in this office. Lisa is one. Lisa T is what I call her. And then also, bless your heart. So, honest to goodness, there's been 2 agents in this office. Lori. Yeah, Lori Watkins had a rough one. Just the way that the 2 of you guys handled your business on that, it was not something you see every day. I mean, you did everything in your power to protect the best interest of that buyer. And from a home inspector we do 1,500 inspections, 1,000, 1,500 a year, it is a pleasure to see how well you guys represent your buyers. Here come out, seller paid for, she sent me that report. I didn't agree with the structural engineer, so she actually went and got another one, and it just all came together and got the deal closed. But just the representation that I'm seeing for you guys is impressive. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks.
And real quick, we had, Amanda Staines had a deal in her neighborhood, and the inspector for the buyer came out and said, it's not Atlas, but it looks like Atlas.
Jeez, okay.
The roof is in fine shape, right? There's no damage. And because he said that, the buyer's agent and the buyer made a big to-do about it. Because it didn't say in the report, it looks like Atlas, but it's in good shape. It said, it looks like Atlas even though it's not, so I recommend it be changed.
How do you tell?
So, and here's the difference of roofing companies and contractors. There are companies that are in the roofing business that are like ambulance chasers, right? You have a hailstorm and they go attack that neighborhood and stuff, and all they are out for is an almighty dollar. They're a company driven from ambulance chasing, right? Now, there are reputable companies in that mix, but the reality is there's a lot of companies that make their money just off that, right? And they do fear and they play the insurance companies and they know how to work it. This agent said, well, the buyers would like to have this roofing company come do an inspection that has replaced about 4 or 5 of their neighbors' roofs. And we'd like for you and your seller to be at the home when they do the inspection tomorrow too. What would you do?
No.
Now, one option, you might say, I would love to be there because I'm going to manage and mitigate through this and make them see that it's not this roofing company is going to hype it up because they don't want to inspect the roof. They want to redo the roof, right? So they're not going out there to inspect. They're going out there to convince the buyers that it needs to be changed. And the buyer's agent was thinking, hey, if I get the roofing company to go out there and say that the roof shingles are bad, then the sellers have to put it on their seller's disclosure form. So because of that, I told Amanda, we talked about it, she said, what do you think? I said, well, I can see it both ways, but in this case, I would say, don't go, tell them you can go do whatever you need to. The sellers are not going to change the roof, but for your buyer satisfaction, go check it out and good luck and let us know. Now that deal fell apart, but the agent actually said, no, we want you there because I want you to hear what is or is not wrong with it, because if there's something wrong, you'll have to note that in the seller's disclosure form. So sometimes you gotta think strategy-wise and go, hey, if I'm there, what is it going to do in what the seller's, I talked to Cal about it, and I said, what is going on with it? And he goes, well, there's different manufacturers and stuff. There could be other shingles that end up having to have the same exact stuff as Atlas Chalet shingles, but right now, that's the only one that's out there. That's the only one that we can talk about because it's the only one that's really got anything going on with it. Or is there anything else out there today that's going on with other shingle companies?
Certainty is right behind it, but it's proving to be not as effective. So right now, it's a moot point. We'll probably see it down the road.
And another reason to use somebody that's on top of it, knows what it is, so that they can, imagine if we had them go out and do the inspection on the front side and say, we know that it's not Atlas Chalet shingles, and here's the report, it's in good health, and you already have that prior to the inspection report going in by the other people. It would give a lot more confidence in that situation. So, yes.
I was gonna ask you, I thought we had a conversation about this. Didn't you say that if the seller doesn't address it, it's gonna be very difficult for the new buyer to try to file a claim for?
That's a great point, yeah. Once it gets into the buyer's possession, they close.
Right,
Two big things are happening. Number
Right.
one, Atlas Chalet is done. That seller's gone, real estate transaction took place, new buyer.
that's what I
So
thought you
Atlas
said.
Chalet
Yeah.
does not look at that or view that as them being the original owner.
Right,
And they don't offer that 75%
right.
payback. And the second biggest issue we're finding is there's only, I'm getting probably 2 to 3 calls a week where a specific inspector missed or did not recognize Atlas Chalet on a roof, and a buyer gets in and the insurance company sending their adjuster out and saying, you have Atlas Chalet, and they're going, what? And then they're saying, we can't insure your roof, and not only can we not insure your roof, we can't insure your house because everything's below the roof.
Right.
So those are the two big issues when they don't.
Take it, when the
They don't-
seller
when the
doesn't.
seller
take-
doesn't get
take
involved,
care of
right.
it. Yeah.
And just think about it, if you buy a roof, or if you buy a home, and it's noted in the inspection report that it was Atlas Chalet, and you take that on, and the seller does not close, and then you get insurance. I have a hailstorm, and all of a sudden, I'm the second owner, I knew it had Atlas Chalet, and I said, I'll wait till it has a hailstorm, and then I'll call my insurance company. How would that go?
Well, if the home's covered, it's still gonna be covered. They're not gonna replace the whole roof, they're gonna replace the damaged portion, and that's where the problem comes in, because and we covered all this a couple weeks ago, the shingles,
That's what insurance-
you can't match them. It's hard to,
Yeah, it's a problem.
to fix it, and make it look right. Unless the whole roof is damaged, then you can get a whole roof replacement.
Somebody will
The
get
other
some
thing
rocks,
would
I'm gonna
be-
throw it up.
Well, it depends what insurance company you have, I think. Because I had mine replaced because I had the Atlas shingles and we had some wind damage. And we didn't have a bunch of wind damage, we just had a little bit, and they replaced our whole roof.
Did they?
But my in-laws, 3 houses down, had another insurance company, and they actually wanted to take theirs, and they had a lot more damage than we did. They actually wanted to take the good shingles from the back and put them on the front. Yeah, and replace just a portion of the back with shingles that don't match the rest of the house. So, yeah.
Since they're effective and they don't make them anymore.
No comment.
You can't replace just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, so it really does, it looks really bad too, because it's not.
How do you like having a Dalmatian shingles?
These are expensive houses, you know.
It's not a new truck.
Terry, the other thing I was gonna say is you're not just the year bill, but also be aware if a home's had a roof replacement, especially in 2008, 2009, there's so many homes that had roof replacements because of wind and hail, and it could have been replaced with that with shingles, even though it was built.
And they were given a discount on those materials.
Yeah, good discount.
Terry, define defective. Is it?
Blistering and thermal cracking.
Okay.
It has a tendency to crack prematurely within 6 years. And then it has a tendency to bubble up and blister, and when it blisters, the blister pops, that's when you're getting the leaking, spotted leaking.
Thank you.
Now, you're saying that only the original owner would be eligible for the support from the applicant?
So, let's put it this,
Well, I don't,
let's put it this
I'm
way.
confused by that.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. If you have a home that you're listing, use this as the one, y'all like this idea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cal, I would like to get implement more of these. 10,000
Yeah.
million dollar listings.
Is that 10,000 you're gonna be listing? Is that your amount?
Or you could go ahead and feed them into the listing presentation.
Yeah, we're gonna be trying a new print shop, and I'm gonna have some listing presentations printed up and bound, so it'll be a little different look, and I'm gonna put these in there. So my thought is this: if you know on the front side, and he comes out and says, yes, you've definitely got Atlas, now you can come up with a solution before you list it. The market of it is the market of it. Doesn't matter if you got a new roof or not. That home is gonna sell in a certain range. Maybe the new roof gives it a little edge, but it doesn't typically bring a $7,000 to $10,000 price tag in addition to the other homes or what the value was before that. But knowing that it is, then you can formulate what is your best option, and Cal could go, hey, you know what? You guys can be proactive as the sellers and go ahead and put in a claim and see if we can get to 75%, have that all ready. And then market the home, and come up with the options, come up with the solutions at that point in time versus going, oh my God, we're 2 weeks away from closing and we got this problem. So, yes.
Terry, do you think you and Cal could do like maybe a 2 or 3 minute video that we could kind of just take over, blast the clients, just to update them on what's going on and how we can help?
I've got a video on top of the roof, showing Atlas Chalet.
I mean, just kind of.
I will not get on top of a roof.
We're talking about the issue and how we can help. It's more fun.
Maybe we'll do a green screen thing.
That's a road side over here. Act like the public.
Okay, back on track. So the key thing is, one, you've got this, use it to your advantage, get the people, and here's what I'd also do. Cal, even if it's not a listing, what if you went to your neighbors and go, you know what you really need to find out is you can use this as a great value add thing for you as a neighborhood sales professional, and go, hey, you know what, I'm gonna give you guys this. Our homes were built during this time period. Some of you will have Atlas Chalet. For this, I'll come and do a little mini inspection for you. You can't beat it. And if I were an owner not selling, I want to know, do I have Atlas Chalet? I'm gonna tell you, the money that they got today is not gonna be around forever. So if you're gonna get something fixed with it, and Atlas is gonna be a part of the solution, the money will run dry at some point in time. So I'd use this as a little community service.
Kelly. Terry, the homes were built in the early part of that window, and then the roof has been replaced. Is it probably not an Atlas Chalet?
It also goes for homes that are built in the 80s that had a roof replacement in that time.
So okay.
That's your point.
So if the
So don't
roof
don't
was
just go by
replaced
whatever-
during that window, it
Yeah.
could have very easily been.
So
Atlas Chalet.
any roof that was put on from 1999 to 2010. So yeah. if you
The seller
own
did- the seller
1985,
No,
Seller's disclosure and says roof was replaced in
Yeah.
2008.
Okay. that was what I was asking.
All right, couple points here. Does everybody have an FMLS sheet?
Yeah, they're coming around.
They're coming around. So here's, underline some important things. One, single-family residential detached, increase of 14% over 2014. We've had some months that were an increase over 14%, but I'm gonna tell you the last couple months on the resale side has not necessarily seen an increase of 14%. So this is where you kind of watch the trends that are going on. Things will be communicating on how many of those homes were new construction. Because we're builders, we're not building on the south side, on the west side. Now they're building in all those areas where they were not 2 years ago. So now you got all this new inventory out there that's gonna be in that mix. The other thing is average sales price, 261,713 for September of 2015. I went back to 2012. It was 189,624. Look at that increase, about 70, what was it, 72,000? No, this is Atlanta. This is the Atlanta overall Atlanta market. We've had an increase in year over year of 7% from 2015 to 2014, and a little increase on the inventory down at the bottom. So what I want to do is enforce upon you guys, go watch the new homes. They are building more inventory. We are seeing resales not conditioned right, just sit. The homes with new flavor and priced right are selling. The ones that are not updated, that are not priced right, are sitting and they're not going to sell. The market is not continuing to rise. We've kind of flattened off as our pricing has gone up, but the inventory is out there on the new construction. You've got to know what is selling so that you can educate your sellers and get their homes in the right condition. By the way, I would definitely leverage this to show to your listings, your friends, whatever, to give you power. If you don't understand something with it, feel free to sit down with me. I'd be more than happy to help you. Here's a question. What is a net listing? We had somebody come up with a contract. And Rob came to me and said, I think this is a net listing. And I said, no, it's definitely outside the box. I said, I really can't answer that 100%. I don't think it is based off these things. He said, well, I think it is because of this. And what it did was it opened up some pretty interesting conversation. We both said, hey, you know what? Let's get Tom Gillette's opinion on it. And in talking to Tom Gillette, he said, I don't think it's a net listing, but you're going to see more of this start to come up in the next couple of years because we're just in that market. So it's a good topic for today so that you can see, well, I kind of already told you what the reality was, so let's walk through it. Buyer and seller get together. Seller owes somewhere around $90,000, but is not 100% certain about what the amount will be at closing. Seller says they will only sell if they can walk from the closing with $15,000 in their pocket, nothing more, nothing less, period. Okay?
Nothing more.
Buyer who you work with says that they're willing to pay, $112,000 for the property in total, and tells you that if they buy it, you will have to accept whatever the amount is from 112, less $90,000 that'll go towards paying off the plus or minus towards going towards the loan amount, plus the $15,000 to the seller on the day of closing. And whatever the difference is, you get to keep as commission. And this was written in the special stipulations. Is that in any way, shape, or form a net listing? And do y'all know what it is? Are net listings, are they legal or illegal in Georgia? Illegal.
What are they?
No, they're not bad.
Well, I think it's pretty close.
No, that was the thing.
You already know what the parameters will be. I think a net listing deals more with.
All right, y'all listen to Joe. He's on the right track. Let's see if he finishes the right way.
It would have been different if they said, okay, look, we're gonna sell it. Everyone gets what they want, but then you're tacking on 20,000 on top of that, or whatever it is. But these, the parameters are already set, and it's really no different than taking a reduced commission, really.
A flexible reduced commission.
Yes, yeah.
So to be very specific, let's say that you guys were selling a home, and I came to talk to you as an agent, and you said, you know what, Terry, all I want to get out of the home is $50,000. Matter of fact, you can get it, if you can sell it for more than 50, you can have anything that you get above 50,000. Because at the end of the day, we only want 50,000. And I walk in and I go, oh my God, this home is worth $75,000. And as a professional agent, I know that. And I don't share that with you. And I go, I'll do that for you. And I get you 50, and I go pocket the 25,000 because I knew the value was much higher than what you were willing to accept. That is a net listing, where the seller says, just give me this and we're done. And you take that on and you go fraudulently get a lot more money without educating them as to what the value of that property is.
Now, if they agree to pay you a 38% commission, that's one thing, that's different.
Pay you whatever you're able to negotiate. Right. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
You understand what a net listing is? Yes.
So is it if you're only not disclosing all the information you know about the property, makes it net? So if you're not telling them the full value of the house is what makes it net?
Well, if you took that listing on and you took it under those terms, then you've broken the law. And you would have somebody go file a claim against you later once they see.
Right, well, yeah, but if a net listing, you know, is if, like you said, say it's at 112 and that's all we want to sell it for, and I'll give you whatever else you can make, whatever you sell the price for, say you sell it at 150. You're like, okay, well, I'll list it for 150 and it sells at 150. How is that not a net?
Well, that would be in that, if you're taking, unless you have a disclosed commission amount in there.
He's still thinking.
The listing agreement has to tell you what that percentage is. I'm taking a $30,000 commission. As soon as you disclose that, the seller's going to say, oh, no.
That's what I'm saying, the gross is saying, we sit here.
So let me handle it this way. One, this is not a net listing, because one, there was a contract. And the price that the seller or the buyer was going to buy it for was 112. All that was known going into it.
Okay.
So there was no questionable end result of what it could be. So the buyer said, I'm paying 112. The seller said, I'm going to sell it for 112. But in the contract, we're going to stay in there that I am definitely 100% going to get $15,000 net in my pocket, regardless of the outcome of how the numbers come out to be. But your price is 112. So that's why that's not a net, is everybody knows what the end result is and the numbers are there and there's no question mark around it. The net listing is where I know the value is significantly higher and I'm gonna basically defraud you and then really take advantage of your situation. And I didn't tell you, hey, your home is worth 75, I'll take 6% commission, I'm gonna list it at 75,000. Or if you say, hey, it's worth 75,000, they go, hey, you know what, I'll pay 25,000 commission.
And that's fine.
But don't they know as soon as you list it? If they're saying, oh, I want out of here at 75,000 and you listed it at 150, they're, I
Well,
mean,
they have to see it and stuff. I mean, that's where they would file a complaint.
Right.
right?
no, they're not doing that.
I'm gonna sell one home a year, so I'll get net listing.
It was listed at 105, and the buyer pays all the closing costs, including the commission. Is that a legal listing?
That's fine as long as it appraises. So if it's listed at 105 and they add on the closing cost, $6,000, whatever you want to say.
Buyer pays
111.
closing costs.
As long as it appraises, that's fine. Right? And by the way, that's something to watch out for. If you have a price and somebody's coming in and they need a closing cost paid for, and they raise the price, it doesn't mean that the home's gonna appraise, so you need to really tighten that in on your contract. So here's a little catch for you. Now, let's say that you are the only agent on the contract. You have a buyer's agency agreement signed with the person. That's kind of a blanket thing because you work with them, they're an investor. It doesn't really matter in this situation. You've got a buyer's agency agreement. And how do you write the contract? Because the seller says, I don't have a listing agent, but you go ahead and write up the contract. What do you do?
Right.
What is that seller?
Customer.
Customer or client?
Customer.
They say, I want you to represent me.
And then we get clients.
You can bring in somebody else from Century 21 that go represent them as a designated agent. That's one option. Could you do dual agency?
Sure.
You
They allow
can do
dual
dual agency in the state of Georgia, but we do not recommend it.
You allow it though, correct?
I will not allow it unless I give you authority to do it. And there's a lot of agents in here that don't have the experience that will not be able to do it. I would let Sharon if she wanted to, but she would say, hell no, I won't do it, right?
I've done it.
You walk a very fine line.
Just get them to sign an authorization to show and list your property.
Well, you're already represented.
Here's what happened in this one that made it even stranger and what really threw the curveball at Rob was the contract was written and the agent checked that they were representing the seller.
Did the seller know that?
Well, no, we don't have the list. So if you write the contract up and you check that you're representing the seller, what must you have?
Listing agreement.
A listing agreement.
They didn't have.
Does it have to be an exclusive listing agreement?
No.
But you have to have a listing agreement that states and spells out what your agreement is. So you can't represent somebody without having a written agreement with them. Okay? So it threw something in there and I was like, well, that's an interesting one. So that was your little ditty for net listings, what they are, and a contract that we just saw yesterday.
So in this buyer agency that he did have, was there a commission rate stipulated in that buyer agency agreement? Right.
No, because they do deals over deals over deals, so they make a reasonable amount of money in the end. So things like this do not bother them, and that was fine. Good question right there. If this person had a buyer's agency agreement that said, if you buy a home and the commission does not meet 3%, you're gonna pay 3%, what would happen? Who would be
I just said
responsible for
no.
paying that?
Buyer.
The buyer, right? Okay. Kevin, was there one that you wanted to bring to the table?
I'm still trying to get around this net
I'm with you, Kevin.
listing.
Let me ask y'all this, what's an open listing?
We don't have an exchange.
Unless the seller.
Like it was a relationship.
What's the value of an open listing? Can you do an open listing in Georgia?
Yes.
Who says yes? You can.
Or pocket.
Tamara back there, she did not want to raise her hand and form an opinion, so she, I think you can. Open listings are very valid and legal in Georgia. If I do an open listing with you, what does that mean? If, let's say I do one and Brad brings you an offer and it's not through me, do you owe me anything? No.
What is an open
That's why would you want to do it?
No.
That was on the test.
That means I'm going to market the property, and if by chance I bring you a buyer, whether it's with another agent or a buyer on their own, I get paid. If I don't bring you a buyer and they go straight to you, I don't get it
I
done.
know, I don't
And
like
that's differs
I
from
won't do it.
non-exclusive.
Yeah, non-exclusive, or, no one get it.
Or do you just like listen?
Exclusive
All
is
that.
the seller.
If you want to do the exclusive seller listings,
Right.
that's the one that you want to do. You did one that was outside the box.
Right, but no one else can really do that simultaneously the way it's written, so.
How you mean?
Joe can do it.
Well, it's a non-exclusive, but we already know the buyers are coming, so it's not really gonna even be listed in the system because it's a commercial tract of
So then you're showing them.
And this was a for sale by owner, or was it expired?
It was listed at one time and it was through expired.
But now it's for sale by owner, or it's expired?
No, it had expired and it was an appointment, that's why I don't want to.
So now you've got an outside the box listing, but bringing in the buyer that's bringing the contract to the table.
Correct, through another agent.
Risk and reward. So kind of said, hey, you know what, it's not what I really want, but if I don't do it, then I'm not gonna get any money. If I do it, I run the chance that I could pull this off.
It's a 7% commission.
You get compensated for bringing them the buyer,
Correct, yeah, because I'm their listing agent, it's just not
but
exclusive.
it's not listed.
Well,
No, it's
It's
not.
listed.
MLS doesn't take it. Right, see, the MLS and FMLS won't take that, and it's for a shorter period of time, and you can't do that on housing, you could do it on a commercial
Right.
piece of land.
It's a pretty specific
Yeah.
task at the moment.
So my key things for you guys is one, that happened yesterday. I said, you know what, Rob, I'm going to tell everybody about this and see what happens. Understand what net listings are, because you will have sellers that go, I want this, and you can make the commission on top of that. And you could sit there and go, okay, your home is worth $150,000. You want to net $140,000, at least about $10,000 of commission. That's about right. I could sit down and educate you and say, here's the deal, your home is worth around $150,000. Based off what you shared, I'm gonna charge 6%, so we price it at this amount. That is not a net listing, okay? A net listing is truly where the person says, I want this amount out of it. Anything above that, you can keep and take to the bank, and you do not explain what the market is, and you go list it for a much higher number, knowing that the end result is that you're gonna make way more than you really should for not owning that property. That's really how to break it down like that. Any questions or comments about anything? Are you seeing a lot of new inventory go up out of the ground? Are you seeing it in the system? Get out there and go start paying attention to it. Walk in those model homes. Get to know the agents, because you're gonna be surprised at what they can bring for you. Cal, if you can bring us, let's say, 400 or 500 copies of the flyers so we can get them out there, because I really believe you could use this in educating a lot of your neighbors and create a lot more value out of you as a realtor than just trying to go get listings. Go give it to people that aren't selling right now and have them go, I really appreciate this, because it's a very affordable package for what they can bring to the table and help you look good. Kim, you got anything that you want to say? No? That's great. Stop asking him that.
I'm excited about being on the team.
That's great.
Clue reports.
There is a way to get a clue report. Denise and I learned recently.
How is that?
Because I can pull one for 5 years, but the one that we learned about is gonna go back further than 5 years.
You can go 7 years.
Yeah.
Y'all know what a clue report is?
It was my
Who in
first
here does
job.
not know what a clue, who doesn't have a clue what a clue is? Give a 2-second presentation on flu report.
LexisNexis is the huge database that stores all the information about claims and insurance and everything. So if I do an application for a customer, I'm gonna get a report from LexisNexis that's gonna cover 5 years and tell me if there's a claim on property. However, there's a way for the current owner to get their own flu report that's gonna go back further than 5 years, and Denise can tell us. We had an email from another agent that explained exactly. I could get that information for y'all if you want.
At no charge, once a year, a property owner can run a clue report on their own property. They have to give their social security number, and it will list either on their property address or even on their personal, like car and everything else, any claims that were put through. So he wanted to verify my seller disclosure that there was only one claim put against there for the hail damage on the roof, which was more than 5 years ago, right?
But, yeah,
So he couldn't get it on
5 years.
his, but when we ran it against this database, it gave you a nice little report saying what claims were against it. So maybe it's a good thing to get when we have a listing. Can you run this flu report against your home, so it'll show any claims that are there and put it in, out there for them.
How far back does it go?
Plus the ones that are against it.
Most of the hail damage in this area occurred in 08 and 09, so we're outside of 5 years now. So if you get that 7-year report, you're gonna find out.
How do you access the database? Where do you go to find
I'll
it?
send the link to Terry,
Okay.
and then he can maybe distribute
Thank
it
you.
that way.
The roof was replaced.
All right, this is what I'm gonna tell you guys. Today, I'm gonna go do a little thing on our Century 21 Results Facebook page. And I'm going to spit out a little analysis of this. I'm gonna go back, the key thing on this one is I'm gonna go back to 2012 and talk about how the prices have gone up and similarly something with interest rates. All you have to do, because I know a lot of you like keeping your friends, is go like our page. And then when you see that come out, go share the information on your page. Then that way it's not you pushing the information out, but then you're using us as a good resource for yourself. So if you don't like Century 21 Results on Facebook, go like it today. And then you'll be able to just go link in and share that out to your friends, because it's okay to sprinkle stuff out as long as it's not necessarily from you all the time. So that's what we're gonna be doing each week, is taking some of this stuff and then putting it out there for you guys to utilize. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, anything from anybody else? Who's got an open house or luncheon today? Do we have anything? So I recommend going down to Spring Valley and checking it out, because it's literally 4 minutes, not even 4 minutes. It's turn left on 141, it's down there on the right immediately. So go check it out, and you'll go through the model home over there and start getting that in your weekly pattern. You got any questions or need anything? Let us know. Yes, sir.
Go Jackets.
Go Jack.
That's awesome.
That was a hell of a game.
Really great.
Y'all have a great day, be productive, and have a good one.
I was there, I just want to say.